most of its time shouting, "Danger, Will Robinson." The first generation of real robots will perform boring, repetitive, and sometimes hazardous jobs. The cost, around $100,000 each. And by the way, TV's ultimate robot, Data, from Star Trek's Next Generation, is nowhere in sight and won't be for decades. Stay tech ahead with my free newsletter. Sign up right now at getkim.com. As a small business owner, you don't have the luxury of clocking out early. Your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you're hiring, you need a partner that grinds just as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Their new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people. Either post your job for free or pay to promote. Promoted jobs get 3 times more qualified applicants. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your small business is the quality of candidates. And with LinkedIn, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Do it today. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And good morning, Central Louisiana. Happy Thursday to you all. Good morning. Glad to have you along for Talkback this morning. Nathan Martin with guest host David Daigrepont.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good for the sports information. I know a lot of people played basketball yesterday, and a lot of people played baseball. Half the teams won, half the teams lost.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Okay, so
my March Madness is the sack layer biting because the spawn is triggered by this warm weather.
Well, I see you wore your patriotic shirt today. One of many, I believe, probably in your collection. I'm guessing.
Good wardrobe. Yeah. Kids know what to buy me for Father's
Day. A patriotic wardrobe. That's exactly right. Well, excited to have you here with us this morning, and we've got a great show today. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll be interviewing Kevin Sasser, candidate for Rapides Parish Police Jury in District B. He'll be talking about his candidacy and what God drew him to offer his name. He's a first-time ever candidate that's never run for office before, and so we'll be talking with him. Of course, his opponent will be on tomorrow morning, Randy Wiggins, and so in the fair and balanced promotion of news and information, both candidates will have their last opportunity on KSYL to put their pitch before the voters. The election is on Saturday, March 29th. It's right here.
Can't wait.
Did you early vote?
I did not. We have to, in Grant Parish, we have to go all the way to Colfax.
Oh, okay.
So I've only done it once before, and I know the clerk of court up there, Randy Briggs. We went to high school together, and so we ended up staying there for like 3 hours.
Of course. Randy's a great guy and does a great job up there. Known him for many, many years. And so, I know they do a great. But you're right. It's not quite as convenient if you live on a different part of the parish. But
I vote across the street from my house.
Yeah.
So okay. It's so easy.
I did not neither early vote either. My wife and I. Sometimes we have, but we just both enjoy day of voting. I think there's something that just feels I'm not saying you're not American if you're early vote. That's not at all what I'm saying. But it feels
right.
It just feels right. That's right. Now, when we know we're traveling, we will. And a couple of times I did it just in case. Felt like. But as you get older, the just in case becomes more important.
More significant.
So, but that vote is coming up on Saturday. And of course, I think Mayor of Cheneyville is on the ballot. There's 4 constitutional amendments, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, kind of retouching those. And I'm thinking there may be something else that I didn't look up on the ballot. In fact, I know how to find out. Oh, no, I don't know how to find out. My website's not up, oversquozen.com. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Well, I know another source. It just takes me a little longer to get there. But so I'll give you that after in a little bit what else is on the ballot. But so we'll be talking to those folks. And then at 8:30, we have a guest coming in with Freedom Travel. We'll be talking with the folks from there, Annie Collins and her daughter, Christine. They're going to be talking about all the things that Freedom Travel can offer to you. And so we'll be chatting with them at 8:30. What's that?
I like the name.
Yeah, Freedom Travel. Yeah, absolutely. We'll find out where the origin of that is. But from now until 8 o'clock, it's open mic, open phone lines. Your calls at 318-442-8255. That's the BOM Talkline. And before we even get the chance to finish the monologue, we've already got 2 calls on the line, so we're going to go do that right now. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Yes. Did you hear the national news that Louisiana is the second most secure voting area in the United States?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
A lot of people.
Go ahead.
Oh, that made me just feel wonderful. Because do you know that when they had the hanging chads and Al Gore and that fiasco in Florida, do you know that those people in Florida with the election came to Louisiana to study how we do our elections?
Wow.
That's impressive. Well, we actually talked about that on Tuesday. Sandra Bonnet, our registrar of voters, has sent me an email with the Secretary of State, Nancy Landry, making that announcement. And I agree with you. That is absolutely huge news and something to hang our hat on.
That's right, because so many times the only people lower in the scale of actual commitments was Louisiana 49 and Mississippi 50, and now 50 is way up there. We're still fighting, but we have a wonderful governor and his staff. And the person who was in charge of voting before Nancy Landry is now on the governor's staff.
Kyle Ardoin, absolutely.
Let me tell you, when he was second in charge for the department for which he ran, he did so much good work and was such an asset to that department. He really worked hard in that department when he was there. And I'm very proud that we also have a young man on the governor's staff from Alexandria.
Yeah, Lance Maxwell.
Yes, he is one of the finest people. And he is just a love. And he is so knowledgeable of what's going on. And he's with the governor practically every minute that the governor's there. Anywhere going.
That's right. I saw him Tuesday. He was in town with the governor for the NRBIA breakfast that they had that I wasn't able to attend because I was here on the radio show. And then at the announcement at Renaissance Home, and got to see Lance. I've known Lance since he was before he had a driver's license. And to see him with gray hair in his beard makes me feel really old.
There's also a staff of people that keep up the machines. I know I used to deliver the ones on Gene Ball Drive where they store them and keep them safe. And then as soon as the election's over, they start refurbishing them for the next election. That's year-round work.
That's year-round, and those men work tirelessly.
They do.
They have a lot of stuff to program in there, and they're very astute at what they do. And I am so proud of our governor and Lance Maxwell and Kyle Ardoin. There are 2 other people on the governor's staff of 4 that surround him. And we have 2 from, say, Central Louisiana. Kyle Ardoin is from Bill Platt, and Lance Maxwell is from here, and he is a love. And I'm so proud of our election second in the nation. That says a lot. That says a lot.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that call reminding us of how important it is to have good elections. And speaking of elections, the other thing that's on the ballot is clerk of court. I don't know how I missed that one. I forgot that one, but the candidates there are Karen Corley and Thomas David III, and they are very much involved with the voting. They actually certify the results. The registrar of voters handles the registration side,
but the clerk of court does the legwork.
That's right. And so there is an election on Saturday as well for that seat.
For that office.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your call, and I agree with you. It's worth celebrating that you know the Louisiana ranks so well in voting integrity.
Oh, voting integrity is where it's at because we have to be able to elect the right people honestly, and we know that a lot of things have not happened that way heretofore. And I'm proud of Louisiana for that, and I'm so proud of our governor. He's doing a great job pulling us back. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you.
Everybody go vote.
Absolutely. Go vote on Saturday. And we're going to go to the next call. Good morning. You're on the line with David and Nathan on Talkback.
Hey, I got a question about Amendment 2 that maybe y'all y'all could talk about. My wife is a teacher, and I've been seeing these different viewpoints. So is it I know it's being, it was promised to be a $2,000 permanent teacher raise. And I've seen some, I know it's been backed by some teachers unions, but I also seen a lot of teachers get on and talk about how it's not going to be, it may not be a permanent raise, and it's coming out of state retirement for the teachers.
I know a little bit about that. It doesn't come out of retirement. My understanding of it is it pays down the retirement to such an extent that the local entities it'll reduce their burden that they would have to pay. And that is like a $2 billion payment, is a one-time payment to pay down the retirement debt of the teachers' retirement system. And that's going to reduce the amount that the local systems have to pay by about $200 million a year. And that's what frees up for these districts to give their support workers and their teachers. And my understanding is they're saying at least 2,000. Some districts may be able to pay more.
I heard it was the yearly stipend that they've already been getting, but they couldn't count on it. They would just reauthorize it year after year, and they're just going to make that permanent.
And so to clarify, I heard Jeff Powell on here say when he was interviewed by Al that that is separate from the local sales tax lump sum payment that the teachers get. So that's totally separate. This has to do with the state stipend, as David just said, that has been mostly owned, but could be on and off depending on the finances. This will basically, you won't get that from the state anymore because you will get a raise in your paycheck, as I understand it.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering, it's a confusing issue. It's like different viewpoints. I was trying to get the truth on it.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking at revenue.louisiana.gov with an FAQ, and here's what the question is. Does the constitutional amendment require a pay raise for teachers? The answer is yes. If the constitutional amendment passes, an approximately $2 billion payment will be made to pay down the retirement debt, and it goes on to say this will reduce required retirement costs paid by local school systems by nearly $200 million a year. It requires those school districts to use the savings to give teachers and support workers a permanent salary increase of at least $2,000 per teacher, $1,000 per support worker. And my understanding also, there's some language in there, is that if there are some of the smaller districts that may not realize that big of a savings, they will receive a state stipend, so to speak, to help fund that purpose. So it will be, according to this, it requires the school districts to use the savings to give teachers and support workers a raise.
Okay. I don't know. I was wondering where people get information then if it's not accurate.
Well, it's just convoluted. I'm not going to say, I understand, it's just convoluted because the money, the source of the funding for the raise comes from the savings by the one-time lump sum payment to the retirement system. So they're not taking the money out of the retirement system. They're just making, it'd be like making a big balloon payment on your credit card, and so now your minimum payment goes from $1,000 a month to $700 a month, and you've got an extra $300 a month to deal with. And I just made those numbers up.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
so
what's that site? Because I was wanting to show it to some teacher friends of mine.
Well, it's revenue.louisiana.gov. But there's a big long tax education and facts / constitutional amendment. But I would say ask the question. Here's what I typed into the Google search. Does Louisiana Amendment 2 guarantee a pay raise for teachers? That's what I wrote in the Google search, and it was the first response on there from the Louisiana Department of Revenue.
All right. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, Brian. Thank you for your call. And just like that, it's time for us to take our first break. We'll be back with probably some more conversation about Constitutional Amendment 2 right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. UPS is launching a new tool for online shoppers around the world to see how tariffs will add to their costs. UPS says the new tool, called Global Checkout, will calculate and guarantee the cost of any tariffs on products in a shopper's online cart at checkout. An executive says that while the timing is great, this is something UPS customers have been asking about for some time. Online retailers that use UPS can also integrate the new tool into their websites. Shares of General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis were moving lower silver and pre-market trading this morning. President Donald Trump signed an order to implement a 25% tariff on auto imports. The president's proclamation specified that auto tariffs would be collected starting at 12:01 a.m. Washington time on April 3rd. Stock futures were narrowly mixed this morning after a lower close for Wall Street yesterday. The Dow fell almost 1/3%. The S&P 500 fell just over 1%. The Nasdaq was down by around 2% in yesterday's trading. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics, where we pride ourselves in providing exceptional care. We offer a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, acute and urgent care, podiatry, and gastroenterology, along with an on-site lab and x-ray. Our new family medicine physician, Dr. Noah Miller, is accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available, and most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinics, 1587 North Fulton, 445-9823. Online at theclinics.us.
The cost of air travel is more than just the ticket price. It's also fuel, meals, lodging, parking, and time. The more we fly AEX, the better our chances of bringing back flights to Houston and Charlotte. Support AEX and help our community grow. Find your true costs at local.flyaex.org.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talkline at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK 78 104.9 FM. KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talkback on Terrific Thursday with David and Nathan. Glad to have Dave Daigrepont as the guest host with me on this Thursday. As Trish had to be out. She'll be back next week. Tomorrow, Al and Sandra will be back with a full show as well. But today, we have quite a few things to talk about. I want to talk about Constitutional Amendment number 2. But before I do that, I want to congratulate Harlow's Donuts in Pineville. They're celebrating 40 years of ownership by the Burr family, one family that purchased that 40 years ago. And I remember when that purchase was made because I went to high school with the daughter of the family that bought it.
Wow.
And I'm not going to say that I ever skipped school to go to Harlow's Donuts, but if I did, I brought donuts to my teacher and they didn't mind. So if I did, hypothetically speaking. But I say that, they're good local folks. Of course, we've got Atwood's Bakery over here, and I love whenever the folks from Atwood's come in and they typically bring something for the folks here. They know how to butter us up, right? Mm-hmm. But they are so well spoken of the other bakeries around, and I love how they recognize there's plenty of pie to be shared, and forgive the pie analogy there, but I'm going to stop by Harlow's when I leave here. They're doing a little. Stop by and get some free coffee and something or other, But I went, like I said, I went to high school with Deanne Burr, now Lashney. Her mom is just phenomenal. Her dad passed away a few years ago, but her brother still gets up at like 3 a.m. and goes up there and starts baking every single day. And just congratulate. You love local success stories.
And my son lives near there, and he helps their stock to stay high.
My daughter and son-in-law too.
My granddaughter Adeline, she loves to go in there, and you see people in there. It's like it's a part of our culture.
It is.
And, that's awesome. I know there's a Shipley is right by UPS. And, I used to deliver their the magazines from American Family
Association.
Yeah, but anyways, they were heavy, and the lady that worked there early in the morning was an elderly lady. She's not there anymore, but I would haul them in the back for her, and so she would start dunking me a donut. Get sugar all
that's so awesome.
Oh, yes.
Well, those local stories are great. By the way, it's a little different story. If you are coming up like I am, needing a new driver's license soon, my birthday's on Sunday, so I have to get a new driver's license.
Birthday.
Thank you. And interestingly, I got a notification through the LA Wallet app about 40 days ago or so. Hey, your birthday's coming up. You need to renew. And when I went to renew through it looked easy, renew through the LA Wallet app, but there was a $15 service charge or something like that. And I thought, that's odd. So I went to expresslane.org. The state's and they only have like a $3 surcharge. So I emailed Representative Johnson, and he's always so responsive, and he explained that the state entered into an agreement with a private entity to run LA Wallet, and they have the option of charging. That's how they make. That's how they can provide the service for free. Have you used LA Wallet?
I have not. My wife does, and she does the express lane too.
So I just, there are two different options. They're not connected to each other, but LA Wallet not only has your driver's license, it has your fishing license, it has your vaccination record. It's got several things in there. The fishing license I thought that was great. I can carry that. I've got that with me all the time. But I say that to say that I did renew it on expresslane.org.
You were able to?
About 30 days ago.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten my license in the mail yet.
Oh.
So I'm a little nervous because Sunday, my driver's license expires because that's my birthday.
Wow.
And I'm going to be carrying that receipt with me.
There you go.
Just in case. Because look, and I've been hearing long lines at the OMV. I don't know if anybody stopped by there, anybody has any personal stories, but the governor declared a state of emergency, and he's waived the $15 late fee for the next through April of some date. So if you haven't renewed it and you get stuck and you can't for whatever reason, and they were saying that it was had to do with the old system that it runs on.
It was. I had to do mine last year in July, and I did it here in LA, and I made an appointment, and they were still backed up, and they just said, our software is so old.
Wow.
And this was before the governor had made any announcement, and so I had to call them at work to say, I'm still sitting here.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit tough. So if you need a renewal on your driver's license, be prepared to take a few minutes. We've only got a minute or so for the next break, so I'm not going to jump into the Constitution Amendment yet, but another interesting connection to voting, President Trump signed an executive order requiring citizenship for voters. And I don't know how that's going to be carried out. I mean, do you have to now in Louisiana, if you get your real ID on your driver's license, that would count as a citizenship, proof of its citizenship. Driver's license, birth certificate, I would think, showing that you're born here. But that executive order goes into effect, and a lot of people, of course, the left has not.
No, they're not
for that.
Well, the Constitution tasks the states with running the elections, and so the states can craft their own voter registration and leave that out. But the federal form has to include it now, and I'm glad to hear it. That our first caller was talking about Louisiana. Yes, because we used common sense. That's one of our strengths. We have a lot of common sense in this state, and it should be that way everywhere. If you're making it easier to cheat, it's because you're wanting someone to cheat.
Well, any state that can come up with both Swamp People and Duck Dynasty has got some common sense, because they figure out how to make life out of nothing. That Duck Dynasty story is simply amazing. Did you see the movie about his life?
I have not yet, but
highly recommended.
I couldn't believe he played football, and he was better than Terry Bradshaw.
And because he quit, Terry got his chance. He would rather be hunting and fishing than slinging the pigskin. So
my wife and a couple of the kids, I think my youngest son Nathaniel, they went up to the Monroe, visited, and they saw, they went
West
to
Monroe. They're going to make sure that you know that.
They went to eat at Willie's restaurant. And,
we did that. I was amazed when we stopped by there a few years ago. There were cars in that parking lot. I mean, you were like going to an international convention. There were probably cars from 20 different states in the parking lot. It's a tourist destination. I know Mayor Stacey Alberton and the folks in West Monroe are very proud to have the Duck Dynasty family there in West Monroe.
Uncle Si stopped. I don't know how much time. Uncle Si stopped in Pollock.
Oh yeah,
at that little store at the crossroads of the Fishville Highway and 165. And I wasn't. I came up later, but they said when he got out, people started recognizing him, and he stood there and he talked to everybody that wanted to talk to him.
That is so great. Well, he's now selling tea on Facebook. He's selling tea. Can you imagine? With his Tupperware cup. All right, we'll be back with more. Stick around. We got more coming up right after this.
KSYL. Think about gambling all the time? Feel the need to bet more and more? Try to win back your money? These are warning signs of a gambling problem. Get free confidential support 24/7 from the Louisiana Problem Gamblers Helpline. Call or text 1-877-770-STOP or chat online at helpforgambling.org. A message from the Louisiana Department of Health, Office of Behavioral Health.
Teachers are diverse, skilled leaders. innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Teaching shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
And we welcome you back. It is live radio. We are making an adjustment right now to bring in our next guest. Little confusion on our calendar, and I had looked at it before, and it showed 8:30, and no, just turn that camera towards him. Sorry about that. We got Kevin Sasser joining us this morning. Sorry about the confusion, Kevin. Glad to have him. Kevin Sasser is a candidate for Rapides Parish Police Jury District B, and as we mentioned a little bit earlier, you were it's your first foray into politics. You've never run for political office before, and we're bringing you in hot off the presses because Saturday is the election day. Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. First time to meet you in person. I appreciate hearing your interest in politics. What drew you into wanting to run for police jury?
I took an interest in politics probably about 15 years ago, just on the national stage, just seeing what was going on. But really in local politics didn't really grab my attention until 2019, 2020 coronavirus epidemic. And I just noticed there were some states, some localities were doing the right things, protecting their local citizens from a lot of unconstitutional mandates. And I didn't notice that here. Now, they weren't trying to force anything on us here locally, or at least at the parish level, but they weren't exactly pushing back either. So I thought we need guys that are going to push back on stuff like this.
So that brought you to say, hey, if not just have guys, I myself want to get involved in that. And so that motivated you. As you've been raised, I think you were the first announced candidate for District B, if I recall. You announced pretty early on. So what has been your strategy, so to speak, of getting out and talking to people?
So actually, the fact that it was a special election, low turnout, was part of the strategy. Everything just came together that, hey, this is my district. It's an opportunity. I knew Randy would run again because he only lost by 3 votes. So I knew he was going to run. And if I thought that he would be that guy, I would have been happy to support him in that. But what I've seen with conservatism here in definitely the last 4 years, is first of all, they're kind of riding on the coattails of Trump's Christless conservatism. So there's like this, they'll make the claim of Christianity, but when it comes to actually standing on the grounds of Christian thought, for instance, the library board in 22 and 23 tried to put forth an amendment to keep inappropriate material out of the libraries. That would have sent a very powerful message to the LGBTQ and all the actors coming in from out of the parish to raise their fists and scream about book bans. If they would have come in there and saw their sheriff, their district attorney, their police jurors standing right there saying, no, we're not going to have this in our children's section. It's going to go where it needs to be, but it's not going to be here. That would have sent a powerful message, but they didn't do that. And then on top of that, it was an election year. So after that was going on, it was kind of like this suppression. And even when you bring it up now, there's kind of like this, there's kind of looking down like, yeah, they don't talk about it. So that is what really was kind of the wind in my sails as far as getting me to use that strategy moving forth, because that's where it matters.
Yeah,
it does.
So I know Dave has mentioned before, he's got a friend that has asked a lot of questions about.
He's on the council.
He's on the committee.
Yeah.
That's right.
James Morgan. He's the one that brought up the question.
Yeah, it was. And nobody stood behind him. Like, they threw him to the wolves. And man,
I admire you for stepping up. I know you had to rearrange a lot in your life to make this possible.
Yeah, I had mentioned that somewhere before. Like, it would be an easy life. Just go to work and come home and take care of your family, provide for them, protect them, and have a garden and chickens and stuff like that. But that's not going to bring about change. Like, it takes people to stand up and call these leaders to repentance. Like, to me, that is, they sinned against God. God put them in their positions, and they did not do their God-given duty. Therefore, they should be called to repent.
I noticed on your Facebook profile, the tagline is "All of Christ for all of life." So flesh that out for us a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of segue off of what I just said. God gives us the nations, the borders, and He puts those in authority who He wills. He gives the civil government to bear the sword. He gives the church, the ecclesiastical government in the church, and then He gives family government. So all of Christ for all of life, I'm saying, yeah, Christ rules my home, Christ rules in the church, and Christ rules at the civil level as well. And everyone brings up separation of church and state, but there is no separation of God and state. The state belongs to God. Mm-hmm. And another thing, on the federal level, the federal gets its authority from the states, not backwards.
Yes.
So, for instance, with Trump in Maine, on principle, I agree with Trump, what he's doing to Maine, cutting their funding. However, Trump derives his authority from states like Maine. So me personally, I say, hey, wouldn't it be great if on a local and state level, we didn't even have to depend on federal money? Like, let them take care of their interstates, 165, 71, let them take care of their federal buildings. But no thanks on the handouts. We got it. We take care of our own.
I think that's part of what they're trying to do with decommissioning this Department of Education at the federal level.
Yeah, and you have to watch that too, because the devil's always in the details.
Well, that's true.
As a homeschool, I'm a homeschool parent. They're trying to offer, I think, some stipends to homeschool. I'm telling you, when you take that money,
the control comes along.
That's right. It's not free money. Nothing's free.
No. Kevin Sasser is our guest this morning, candidate for Rapides Parish Police Juror, District B. Of course, that's election is 2 days from now, and you're this issue. You mentioned the phrase Christless conservatism, and I think that may have caught some people off guard, or maybe never heard that phrase before. You want to flesh that out a little bit for us?
Yeah, and it's pretty popular. Like I would say, like a Jordan Peterson. That kind of we hold to this middle ground here in the road, kind of right of center. But what it really is, the Bible gives you two options. It's not a scale of right and left, and then you're trying to get in the center. It's broad road to destruction and a narrow path to life. So that's it. So when you're on a Christless conservatism, your conservatism may be rooted in low taxes and draw businesses in and this rugged individualism. But we still have abortion in Louisiana. So where is that conversation at? We have a lot of men talking about, I go to church and I'm a Christian in my faith and this and that. But a lot of the leaders will say that, but we still have abortion in Louisiana. So, I think a conservatism rooted in Christ would go after that, because that is murder.
So I appreciate your stance on that and making it very clear, all of Christ for all of life. I'm sure that's included in that as well. Kevin Sasser, candidate for Police Juror District B. We'll be right back with more with Kevin right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics, with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Your teeth are in need of a little dental work, but you're putting it off. Why? Could it be you can't stand the thought of wearing old-timey adhesive-filled dentures? Is it the high cost of dental implants? Or is it just the concept of having a dentist poking around inside your mouth? Whatever your reason, today's Dental in Pineville has it covered. And with hundreds of smiling, satisfied patients, they've made getting implants amazingly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. And with calming in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, your anxiety will all but slip away. Plus, their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. So why wait? If you're looking to replace your old-timey denture with permanent implants, give Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
When you're going through something, you want to be heard, respected, and helped. Louisiana 988 is here to provide that, offering 24/7 emergency emotional support. Specialists will genuinely listen, treat you with dignity, and help you find the resources you need. It's free, confidential, and most people who reach out report feeling better right in the moment. Call or text 988 anytime.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM.
We welcome you back to Talkback on this Thursday morning. Kevin Sasser is our guest with the candidate for Rapides Parish Police Jury District B, along with David Daigrepont, who's not on camera right now, but he's still on the microphone. We were talking during the break that something that's important to you are the constitutional amendments that are coming up, and I'm assuming number 2 has a especially caught your interest.
Yeah, Amendment 2, we're getting a lot of Republican leaders coming out in support for it. The governor supported it. He made a post that a no vote on Amendment 2 is a vote to end the teacher stipend. Well, that's part of it, but they lumped a lot of things into that one amendment. So that's problem number 1 is, a lot of these things, if you put them standing alone, they would probably pass, and a lot of people would support that. The problem is, and even the Louisiana Baptists had an article supporting it, and they're just guaranteeing their people, hey, taxes are not going to change on churches, but here's the problem. And I had the actual screenshot from the 115-page PDF that property owned by a nonprofit operated exclusively for religious purposes of a house of worship, residential housing for clergy, priests, or nuns, or seminary or other educational institution training individuals for religious ministry shall be exempt from ad valorem tax pursuant to this section. So they used explicit language. Mm-hmm. When you explicitly include things, you're explicitly excluding things. So I think of Heart of Worship in Pineville. They have their sanctuary, but they built a Christian school next to their building.
Right.
It's not going to be an issue now, probably because, we have Republican majorities, but that's not to say in 10 years, the landscape's not going to look different politically, and they are going to start taxing things like that, because it says specifically that education institution has to be for religious training.
For religious ministry.
For ministry, correct.
Right.
So
that would include New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, but that would not include Grace Christian School or Heart of Worship School or,
correct.
And so, you got places like even Hope Baptist Church do they still have a Christian school?
I think Alpine has one too.
Alpine does. And so those facilities are not necessarily used exclusively for religious purposes. So that does bring that question up.
Correct.
Or like you said, Louisiana Christian University.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ed Tarpley had called in yesterday. That was one of my talking points. And I'm thankful for him, an established Republican, calling in and voicing his stance against it, because I think that's important. This whole amendment, I was describing to them out there, it's like the Full House pizza at BJ's. It's delicious. Everybody likes it, but once you put anchovies on it, I don't want
analogy.
Yeah, and even if you take the anchovies off, I'm still not eating it. I mean, and so that's what we have, and
that's Louisiana common sense.
That is Louisiana common sense, as you say. Yeah. Well, so I'm sure that your discussion. I was looking at your Facebook page, and you've said some things, and you will sometimes say, "I know this isn't going to be popular, but." You've been willing to take some unique stands on things that are conscience-driven and faith-driven.
Yeah. So when I argue on this property tax measure, I'm not arguing from the position that property tax is okay, and I'm defending exemptions. I'm for abolishment of property tax at the residential level.
Yep.
100%.
Me too.
It's unbiblical, and all we're doing every 4 years we vote for a new landlord. And sometimes you get a good landlord, sometimes you don't. But we don't enjoy true freedom here. We're given the illusion of freedom, but when you have to pay property tax, you're leasing your property, and if you want to protest that and say I'm not paying, well, guess what? In about 3 years, you're not going to have anything. You're going to be on the street. So I know that's a pipe dream. That's a long road to hoe, but we get set in this mentality that that's the way it's always been. And so we can't, we could never make that change. Well, you could. And some people would have to make some uncomfortable sacrifices because, of course, we still have to raise revenue.
We have a call for you, Kevin. You mind taking it? Sure. He's got the headphones on. We're going to go to you. Caller, good morning. You're on Talkback with Kevin Sasser.
Good morning. Well, I guess this is the first time in, 50 years, 70 years that Louisiana has a chance to change the system. And it seems like to worry about something that might happen in 10 years because, we're getting a chance to change the tax system and the way we tax it. This is kind of what we've always kind of been wanting. And it seems like it's fear-mongering to scare people of what might happen and take place in 10 years because people didn't elect the right people. Why don't we pay attention to what we're doing locally? Okay. It gets people more involved. It gets people more involved in their government if they're worried about what might happen. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for your call. And sounds like he might not mind an anchovy, to use your earlier analogy. And when he says pay attention locally, that's what you're doing. You're you're not just making a statement about it. You're putting your name on the line to be a candidate.
Yeah, and my issue is not so much the 10 years; it's the deception. Was this bill crafted out of incompetence, or was it crafted with intent? It's only one or the other. And when you're adamantly defending that, you're saying it was competent. So I don't think you have to have a master's degree to see the deception in this article here.
We got less than a minute to go before the music starts. Election day is on Saturday. You're encouraging people to get out. What's your final statement to the voters?
Yeah, we live comfortably in Rapides Parish. There's a lot of things happening on the state level. They're bringing a lot of businesses in. I think we're losing a lot of revenue if we are going to talk about property tax. The steel mill in Ascension Parish, they're here, but they're going to get a huge tax break. Just get out and vote. Politics are never going to change if you don't change them.
Very good. Kevin Sasser, candidate for District B Police Jury. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in this morning and talk with us. You've got a compelling message, and I know you're probably enjoying the process of meeting people. That's always been the best part of being involved in politics. Thank you again for offering your services to the citizens.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with hour number 2, freedom, travel, and more on Talkback on KSYL right after this.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting. FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HD3 Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Breaking news from Manassas, Virginia, where Attorney General Pam Bondi has just announced the arrest of a 24-year-old south of Washington, D.C.
America is safer today because of one of the top domestic terrorists in MS-13. He is off the street.
She says the suspect, whose name has not been released, was in the country illegally.
They're one of the most dangerous gangs in our country, and we are going to fight until they are completely dismantled.
President Trump calls Homeland Security Secretary Tom Homan a superstar for the arrest on social media. U.S. officials just confirming Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. plans to cut 10,000 full-time employees across different departments. Those cuts are in addition to about 10,000 who've opted to leave since President Trump took office. The HHS oversees vaccines, scientific research, food, and tobacco products. More fallout from Trump cabinet officials using the Signal app, the same one they chose to discuss plans for an attack on Houthi rebels in Yemen. Correspondent Michael Wallace.
The German news magazine Der Spiegel found the private information of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in hacked data that were dumped online. They found password details, mobile phone numbers, and email addresses. Hegseth's email address and some of his passwords were found in more than 20 data leaks.
Industry analysts are weighing in on President Trump's tariffs on foreign-made cars and car parts that'll kick in April 2nd. Joe McCabe at Auto Forecast Solutions.
No one's going to come out unscathed on this, 25% across the board. It is going to be bloody in the beginning.
The president believes the tariffs will encourage more car manufacturing here in the U.S. French President Emmanuel Macron is hosting a summit of European leaders and NATO allies.
We'll have you two mics over here
in the war with
We'll
Russia.
put you both on. You'll be on camera, but it'll just be the wake up. So,
unofficially on the agenda, I think, is America.
You'll have the headphones if you get a phone call. It's my little phone camera here.
And this fear, which is ever present among the Europeans, that Trump and Putin are cooking something up together.
We have a date for launch of an all-woman Blue Origin flight to space that'll include our own Gail King.
It's something new that they started
April
recently.
14th.
So
Gail has a
if you want
request.
to see over there, and then you know about.
Please don't tell me
We'd
what the hell
actually be
am I
delighted
thinking.
to.
I just want
In
people
fact,
to cheer me on
I
and be
think
happy for me.
we do, yeah.
Because I really am
I'll
excited.
get you to the KSYO. I'll get you on the mics
Katy
first,
Perry,
and then I'll get you to
Jeff
turn
Bezos'
around.
fiance, Lauren Sanchez. This is
Oh,
CBS
let me help.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
So I'm going to do it both ways. This because I have the KSYO here. So. There we go. Yeah, there we go.
One free set of Brake Best
And then I'm
brake
going to get y'all
pads
to
when you
spin
buy
around.
two Brake Best Select brake
You'll just
rotors.
spin.
You can upgrade to Brake Best Select brake
There we
pads
go.
for just $10 more, or upgrade to Brake
Get
Best
that mic
Select
like
Pro
this.
or
We'll
import
pretend.
direct
No, we'll
pads for
pretend that we're
just
talking into
$20
it.
more. Visit your local
Okay, there
O'Reilly
we go.
Auto
1,
Parts.
2.
Offer in-store
You
only.
look at
Restrictions
me,
apply. See store
and then
for
look back at each
details.
other. All right. You look at those and see if you like them.
Okay.
If you want any more, we'll do them after the next break.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
It really was when you said that.
When it's windy or dry.
Whenever we get, yes, once we get started, we got.
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the
We
USDA
got a-
Forest Service,
still got a
State
couple
Forester, and the
minutes
Ad
before we go
Council.
on there. So, go ahead.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. A national organization gives Louisiana high marks in election
Nathan Martin.
integrity.
I
The
do the
Heritage
Tuesday,
Foundation
Thursday
ranks
now. Al does
Louisiana
Monday,
second
Wednesday,
in the
Friday.
country for election
And so this will be
integrity.
delightful
Secretary
to
of
get,
State
for me to
Nancy
get to.
Landry
It'll be
says
a
the state
fresh
has
interview
always
because
had
I won't know
secure
anything.
elections,
Right?
but the state
So
made
lots
them
of
even
questions.
more
Dave
so
Daigrepont is a guest host.
through laws
Normally we have
passed
Trish
last
Lala
year
on
that, among
Thursdays,
other things,
but she's
crack
out of
down
town
on ballot
today, so Dave
harvesting
fills
and
in.
soliciting absentee ballots for other voters.
And
Landry
he
says
said,
the
when
elections
I
are
told
being
him about you
further
guys,
secured
you
with
see a
new
shirt,
equipment
he
that
said,
will
Freedom
include
Travel, I
a
love
paper
their name,
element.
because he's a very patriotic
you
person.
can
So
hold in your hand
we'll
and
ask you all
look
kinds of
at and
questions about
confirm that that's how you voted.
That ballot
absolutely.
would then be
Absolutely
scanned
will.
and kept in a
So I
lockbox
have,
and used for audits after every
Annie
election.
and Christine,
I'm Andrew
right?
Greenstein.
Okay.
Don't forget, Saturday is Election Day, and there are 4 constitutional amendments on the ballot. Governor Jeff Landry has been traveling the state asking residents to vote for Amendment 2, which rewrites a large section of the Constitution that governs taxes. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. LRN.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics, where we pride ourselves in providing exceptional care. We offer a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, acute and urgent care, podiatry, and gastroenterology, along with an
It should be
on-site
fine.
pharmacy.
Yeah, it should
Our
be
new
good.
family medicine physician, Dr.
And the only
Noah
thing we
Miller,
would
is
do,
accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available, and
I'll
most
make sure I've
insurance and
gotten both of
Medicare are
them in.
accepted. The
I'll get
clinics,
around.
1587
So
North
I just got you from your chest up.
445-9823. Online at theclinics.us.
Good morning. Cloudy skies on our Thursday afternoon highs. We'll get up to about 80 degrees. We could see a stray shower or two. Tonight, cloudy down to 65 for the overnight low. Our Friday, clouds stick around. Yeah. And they say thunderstorms developing in the afternoon hours. About a 60% chance of that. Afternoon highs near 74. 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms Friday night with the potential of some severe weather. And that's your forecast from the Sedla Broadcasting Weather Center. I'm Dave Grayson. Currently 60 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback is sponsored by the clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
Start, so I love the journey with you.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And, oops. And good morning. Welcome back to Talkback on Thursday morning. Glad to have you along for the ride this morning. Dave Daigrepont, guest host,
along with Nathan Martin.
And we're super excited. I'm excited to meet some folks I've never met before. Annie Collins and Christine, her daughter from Freedom Travel. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning.
We're so glad that you're here. And I know you do some advertising with some of our broadcasting, but I want to know about Freedom Travel because travel agencies, in some people's minds, is like a luxury or an extravagance for rich people. But I've got a feeling that you guys offer a lot of services that I don't even know about and I need to learn about. So tell us a little bit about Freedom Travel. How long have you guys been in business?
Well, we've been in business 35 years.
Oh, wow.
I know. 35 years is hard for me even to imagine. And we do custom international travel, which does, at first blush, sound like luxury travel, which it can be, but it is mostly about putting a great trip together for somebody who has a need.
Okay.
So let's just pick any place. Where would you like to go? And we can tell you how Freedom Travel works. And the word freedom, we were talking about this off air. The word freedom doesn't come so much, although we do love our country. It comes more from the idea of being free and not being tethered, being able to travel the way you want to travel, because everyone travels differently. So there are no 2 trips that we ever do that are identical.
So y'all handle the details and giving the traveler the freedom to enjoy their trip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And addressing the extravagant part, we really we call ourselves travel architects, and we really try to listen. Instead of designing the trip that I want to listen to what you're doing. So if it is something extravagant, if you want to go drive Ferraris and, stay at the nicest place in Paris or Lake Como, sure, we can do that. But we are also very good listeners. We do pilgrimages for families. We do group trips. So we really are going to listen to what you want. And we do have ways of making it more affordable for people who are on more of a budget. So doing a group tour instead of a private tour, really experiencing the trains. And so we try to really be good listeners to what our travelers want.
So if somebody's wanting to backpack across Europe and stay in hostels and cut the corners, you can still help them with that.
We can definitely direct them there, yes.
Wonderful.
Usually the hostelers like to do it themselves, but they're more adventurous. We're good at all. We do a lot of families. We do a lot of trips. We do a lot of honeymoons, anniversaries, that type thing, birthday celebrations. So we're all over the place.
I imagine y'all keep up with the rules. I know from shipping packages, the complexity of crossing borders, and then countries change their rules often.
Yes, sir.
So y'all keep up with that for people.
Yes, sir. For instance, we're leading a trip to Mexico on Tuesday, and I've been researching, what we need. I'm getting conflicting reports about what we need, but thankfully we have travelers that just went there yesterday, so they can confirm. So Mom and I always say we learn just as much from our travelers as they learn from us.
I'm blessed. I've been able to travel
quite a bit, many countries, and I go to Mexico 3 times a year. I know the confusion you're talking about, at least on the border. Do you have to have a full tourist visa just to go into the border area versus into the interior where you have to have the FM3, I think it's called, or tourist visa. But having traveled as much as I have, a lot of it I've done myself. It is so frustrating. You think you're going to do better by helping yourself, but the last
it's overwhelming at times, the options. And so to have an expert to guide you, especially based on other people's experiences, can be so helpful. What are some of the special things that people like to travel for? You mentioned families and pilgrimages, and when you say pilgrimage, I think of Israel, but maybe it's to a home country or where their family was from, that kind of thing. Somebody wants to go to Ireland and see their roots, or
right. We do all of that. We have a lot of people from Louisiana that want to go to Sicily, for example, and they love to go back. And some of the people you probably know here in town want to go back to their roots. And then Ireland's another one. But Christine has been leading and has one coming up, and I'll let her talk to you about that. The Camino, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Camino.
Spain?
Well, it comes from all over, but it ends up in Santiago de Compostela. And I'll let Christine.
The Way of St. James. Yeah. So we had a great pilgrimage last fall, and then I'm leading another one in 26.
So you go?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, excellent.
Yeah. A good bit of the trips we go on, but we had a group of 17, and we really made it pretty doable, where we only walked about 9 miles a day. So we got there in time for happy hours, the goal. But we had our priest along with us, and we're going to do that again next year.
Wonderful.
And, so.
See, the 9 miles a day thing, I'm out.
That's a scooter involved, right?
It's the happy hour that I'm in for.
I told her she could meet us at the end. There are taxis.
So I'm looking at the notes that were given to me: honeymoon, anniversary, graduation, or birthday vacations. Do you do many like destination wedding type stuff?
Yeah.
Is that something that you can help people with?
Yes, for sure. And I did one for my daughter, so I know how to do it.
You've got first-hand experience.
We do a lot of that. We've also had people, I've had a couple here in town who wanted to, the stories are endless, by the way. This could go on for days. They wanted to, she wanted to get married in Italy. And so they came and talked to me about that. And I said, well, that involves a gown, and it involves tuxedo, and it involves a photographer and a venue and somebody to marry you and all of that stuff. I said, are you sure you want to do that for a couple of hours? And so they rethunk it, and they decided that they instead would. And then I said, well, I have a small group going to Italy on a wine trip at about the same time. So here's what this couple did. And you probably know them. I won't repeat their names. They decided to get married in New Orleans. They met us in Washington, D.C., and 16 of us went on their honeymoon.
That sounds like a movie.
The point I'm making is that we can also talk you off the cliff of things. That just doesn't make sense to me. People want to do one-way trips.
If you want a destination wedding, though, we can make it happen.
Absolutely.
We can definitely make it happen.
All right, we have a call that wants to talk to you on Freedom Travel, so let's go to the phone line. Good morning, you're on Talkback with Annie and Christine.
Hey, good morning. I just want to brag on Freedom Travel. We used them for our 10-year anniversary. My wife and I went to Italy. Annie sat down with us and curated a trip. We planned it out almost a year in advance so that we could save and plan for it. And it was the most fabulous trip we've ever taken. Everything was laid out for us. All we had to do was literally show up. And we got off the plane in Venice, and there's a guy with a sign with our name on it. Plane tickets, train tickets, all of our stays, everything was mapped out. We literally just showed up where we were told, when we were told, and it was a great experience.
Oh my gosh. I wish
we
you
brag. We brag about it all the time.
I wish you could feel my smile, because this is why we work. This is why,
to give people these kind of experiences.
Yeah, I can't see your face, but what's the name?
We have no idea.
McCoy.
Oh, Adam McCoy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
You have to learn how to. Bologna, it was phenomenal.
And we do specialize, or we sort of brag on ourselves that we give people an off the beaten track. So you're not just going to have, a general excursion that someone would have if they're just showing up. We're going to give you the experience where you show up in white and barefooted is one of our new destinations, suppliers that we're working with in a winery in Italy. You know, so just so you can really feel what the place is like and not just, you know, be passing through.
Right.
So I hope that's what they experience.
Definitely something we brag to all of our friends that you need to, when you want to travel, this is how you do it. You got to call them and let them set it up for you. So we will be calling back for our 20-year anniversary.
Okay. We'll be here.
Right. You cannot beat that type of local word of mouth advertising. Thank you, Adam, for calling. Adam's a local business owner. He knows the power of that type of, you know, grassroots word of mouth sharing. So what a great, I'm so glad you called because we all kind of feel a little bit better because of that call.
I know. There's just not enough words for why we do this. Yeah. And that's it, because forever, Adam, they're going forever.
It's a memory.
You cannot, there's not a price. Right. There's just not.
And one other trip that I like to talk about my mom, she's individually taken each one of the grandchildren on a trip of their choosing. And so now we're having grandparents. I'm a new grandparent. I'm already planning to travel with my grandson, but you know, now we're having grandparents call us and say, I want to do this trip with my grandchildren. And that experience, that education is, you know, it to me exceeds anything that you can learn in school. And then that special time with your.
Well, what I heard from his call, you helped with the budgeting. You were able to help forecast for him what he needed to give his wife the trip that he wanted to. And that information there is priceless, because I wouldn't know where to find that information.
I'm just hoping my wife's not listening right now.
I heard a lot of good things about Italy.
Oh, absolutely. I have a friend who recently went to Greece, and they came back and said, no, go to Italy because Greece is just dry and brown, and Italy is lush and green. And so I don't know. I haven't been to either, so you guys got a recommendation?
Croatia is also a good mix between the two.
I saw Croatia on here, and when I think of Croatia, I think of war zone. So tell me about Croatia.
Croatia is my favorite. Well, I learned when I was 50 years old that I should listen to her.
Yeah.
That she knows what she's talking about. So she kept going on and on about Croatia. So we both have done a trip where you start in Dubrovnik and end in Split on a small ship. So there's 10 cabins, and that has been the pinnacle of, you know, both of us, one of our, you know, if you could say what our top trips are, it's kind of hard to say, but.
Is it those long ships that go up the rivers?
No, that's a river cruise. So you're actually in the ocean, but you're stopping on the little islands along the way, and, you know, hopping off and going to an oyster tasting, you know, where they just pull them up out of the ocean.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
My dad's on line. We got a phone call. Let's go to the line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Christine and Amy.
Good morning, everybody. Another satisfied, happy customer testimonial, I'll tell you. Any of you will believe that 8 years ago Saturday, my wife and I got married, and we had approached Annie before the wedding to help us plan a honeymoon. And Annie got back with me in a couple of days and said, well, we have this trip to Italy, but you'd be going with about 15 complete strangers. And we thought about it and said, you know what, let's go. So we got married we moved our wedding date to accommodate this trip. We got married in City Park in New Orleans, and then went with this crowd to Italy for 2.5 weeks, and we're all still friends.
Jonathan, I just told that story. I'm so glad you called in, you and Melissa. I have told that story 12 times. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, we all met each other for the first time in the airport terminal. We're gonna honeymoon together.
That's hilarious. Doc, you didn't say your name at all, but then you called in and kind of outed yourself on that.
I did, but that's okay.
That's a great story. It sounds like it could have been a recipe for disaster, but it sounds like it was absolute delight.
No, and Jonathan, I'll tell another little story on you, and this is another reason you have freedom travel. So we're up in northern Italy. We've made our first stop. Of course, Jonathan is buying wine for his new house, and he's like crazy nuts about his wine cellar. And so he has lost track of that he left his passport.
Oh.
And do you remember this, Jonathan? You left your passport?
I thought I did do that. You're right.
We got all the way to Florence, and we're checking into the new hotel, and they're asking for his passport, and his eyes like roll around in his head. So we called our people.
We got a guy for that.
Thank you.
So awesome.
She made it all happen. So grateful for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Jonathan.
I appreciate you calling this morning, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more conversation with Annie and Christine of Freedom Travel.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Yeah.
Hey, Louisiana. It's time to volunteer for Keep Louisiana Beautiful's annual Love the Boot Week, the state's largest litter cleanup and beautification event. Every effort, large or small, creates a lasting impact. So let's join the movement to make Louisiana a cleaner and greener place to call home. Love the Boot Week takes place April 5th through 13th. Sign up to volunteer or organize an event at lovetheboot.org. Brought to you by the Office of the Lieutenant Governor and Keep Louisiana Beautiful.
Did you know that 71% of all licensed real estate agents did not sell a single property in 2024? Hi, this is Trish Lala. When it's time to make the largest financial decision of your life, buying or selling a home, what's happening in the market really matters. The good news is you actually can still come out ahead if you place your trust in an agency with decades of experience handling all of those ups and downs. When experience matters, we're here for you. The Trish Lala Group.
Colorectal cancer is the leading cancer killer in men under 50 and the second leading cause of cancer death for women under 50. The American College of Radiology urges you to get screened starting at age 45. Now, Medicare and insurance companies are required to cover not only colonoscopy, but less invasive exams like virtual colonoscopy. Talk to your doctor about your options. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org/virtual CT.
Sinlaw Broadcasting is local, so we promote the locals.
Helping to feed Sinlaws hungry, the Food Bank of Central Louisiana serves more than 22,000 people every month in our community. They support local food pantries, soup kitchens, emergency shelters, after-school programs, and kids cafes. For every $1 donated, our food bank can provide 5 meals to families in need. Learn more on Facebook or at fbsinlaw.org. Together, we can provide hope to the hungry people here in Central Louisiana.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinlaw Broadcasting.
Colorectal cancer is the leading cancer killer in men under 50 and the second leading cause of cancer death for women under 50. The American College of Radiology urges you to get screened starting at age 45. Now, Medicare and insurance companies are required to cover not only colonoscopy, but less invasive exams like virtual colonoscopy. Talk to your doctor about your options. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org/virtual CT.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talkline at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now, back to Talkback. Okay. 70 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback. We're talking about travel this morning. Freedom Travel. The owners are here. Annie Collins, her daughter Christine, who is a travel architect. And as more we're having the conversation, the more I'm understanding how complex this is. You guys are planning group trips for people. Tell us about that process. How does someone go about planning a group trip with you?
Of the ones that we're leading. So there's a lot of people that are more comfortable traveling in a group. Maybe you haven't traveled before and you just have this comfort level of being with somebody. This is a great, sort of first jumping off point for. But we have a couple group trips planned, some tried and true, some that we are just learning about. Really, we like to go to places that are new, so we're like, okay, well, let's make this happen. So Africa is number one on my bucket list. So, and like you said, I'm planning it for 2026 for the fall when the weather is ideal in South Africa, but also so people can have time to plan, to budget, to get their life in order before they go on this big trip. So we are already know what our trips are in 26. We're about to start working on what our trips are in 27. But my mom is itching to go to Japan and visit with the local artisans and not just go to the big cities and do the route thing. So she has a beautiful trip that she has architected, and I'll let her tell you about that.
Yeah, so Japan is really, it wasn't on my list for a long time. Then Christine had a couple of clients, I did too. And then all of a sudden, it became clear that I really wanted to see this country. The beautiful thing about Japan is that it's visually gorgeous. The landscape is visually beautiful. The food, it's like Italy. Everything there is gorgeous. And I am pleased to say that the price is also gorgeous. So I'm thrilled with the price. I think it's under $5. I'm going to lie to myself per person. And that's 13 days of a lot of meals are included. But I mean, you're seeing things that you're just never going to see on a regular group trip. But we to speak about groups, you know, we plan 2 or 3 a year, as Christine mentioned. But there are other places that people go on trips that want to do their own group, and we can make that
a lot of friend groups. You know, we have a good band of travelers, and a lot of people have this band of travelers, and year after year we plan their trip for them where they want to go.
Wow.
So we have a lot of return clients, as you can tell from the call-ins.
I heard that. You mentioned the money. Do y'all keep track of where the dollar is stronger in different parts of the world? So if somebody comes to you and says, we just want to go, and you direct us in the most economical way?
We don't really think about it. It's more from the heart.
We definitely probably are more concerned about safety and where you're going to have the best experience. The dollar being stronger is an added plus, you know, but it would be maybe a small variant in the overall picture. Most people come to us and they have, you know, my parents were married in Sicily. We want to go back. And so we do these great genealogy trips. And most people come to us, although yesterday somebody called me and said, we've never gone out of the country and we have no idea where to go. So I was able to sort of interview them, find out what they like to do. What's your perfect day look like? Do you want to sit on the beach? Do you want to be, you know, moving every day? So that's the way that we can design, you know, that's sort of our parameters there.
Yeah, that would be a big advantage.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your website. You mentioned Belize as a great location because you can be there really quickly. You can be in Belize as fast as you can be just about anywhere in America.
And that's where we had our wedding.
Is that right?
I was married in Belize. Wow. So we did the destination wedding there. But we got to where it was so expensive to go to Florida. I'm like, I'm not spending that to go to Florida. So we started taking our family to Central America. So we've been to Guatemala, we've been to Panama and stayed in the tree houses with the sloths. And for the same price, have given our family, you know, some rich cultural, but we fell in love with Belize and we continue to love Belize.
It's a beautiful country. Was there many years ago, and I'm looking at these other countries you have on here. Absolutely wonderful packages. We're about to wrap up. FreedomTravelLLC.com. So there's 3 L's in there. FreedomTravelLLC.com, right? And I'm assuming you're on Facebook as well. Can people find you on Facebook?
All the socials, yeah.
All the socials. There you go. So Annie and Christine, thank you for coming in. Last minute, what's the biggest thing you want people to remember about Freedom Travel before we leave?
I want people to know that we are for them. We design for you, and it's all about you, and it's all about your freedom. So we want it to be your trip.
Yeah, we're not going to rush you around. We're going to give you an authentic experience wherever you go. You're going to have some days to go where the wind blows you, and then you're going to have some great experiences. So we want you to have just the nice variety and for it to be relaxing for you and for you not to be stressed about it.
Excellent.
Your website is gorgeous. It's got, I don't want my wife to see this because we'll be calling you soon. Thank you so much, Annie and Christine, for coming in and talking to us about Freedom Travel.
It was fun. Thank you.
Thanks.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today.
You sure do.
Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
That's wonderful.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. If you're in the market for a new car, then you could be paying more soon. President Donald Trump has signed an order to implement a 25% tariff on auto imports, a move aimed at bringing more manufacturing jobs to the U.S. The president's proclamation specified that auto tariffs would be collected starting at 12:01 a.m. Washington time on April 3rd. The White House said the tariffs would apply not only to fully assembled cars, but key automobile parts. Even U.S.-made vehicles would see price increases if supplies and parts are hit by tariffs or if supply chains are cut off from manufacturing in lower-cost countries. Petco has been closing stores that are underperforming. Cost-cutting moves appear to be paying off. The pet supply retailer issued a full-year outlook that beat expectations. Petco plans to cut its store count by as much as 30 locations this year, following a drop of 25 last year. Futures are slipping this morning after stocks finished lower on Wall Street yesterday. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The value of experienced leadership cannot be overstated in the clerk of court's office. Progressing through the ranks, Karen Corley is the most qualified to be the next clerk of court for Rapides Parish.
With 37 years of service, I am dedicated to safeguarding our elections, keeping crucial evidence safe, and streamlining access to public documents both online and in person. I'd be honored to have your vote.
Let's keep what's clearly working. Karen Corley, our clerk of court.
Paid for by Karen Corley for clerk of court.
This is Secretary of State Nancy Landry. Important deadlines are quickly approaching ahead of the March 29th municipal primary election. Visit govote.com, that's GEAUX vote.com, or download the free GoVote mobile app to check your voter registration, see your sample ballot, or find your polling location. Be sure to follow the Louisiana Secretary of State's office on social media to get accurate and important election-related information. And remember to go vote, Louisiana.
Only two things in life are certain, death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk for just $25 a month to get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has supported and will continue to support the people of Israel with life-saving security essentials. Your gift today will help save lives by providing bomb shelters, armored security vehicles and ambulances, firefighting equipment, flak jackets and bulletproof vests, and so much more. Give a gift to bless Israel and her people by visiting supportifcj.org. That's one word, supportifcj.org.
Good morning. Cloudy skies on our Thursday afternoon highs. We'll get up to about 80 degrees. We could see a stray shower or two. Tonight, cloudy down to 65 for the overnight low. Our Friday, clouds stick around, yeah. And they say thunderstorms developing in the afternoon hours. About a 60% chance of that. Afternoon highs near 74. 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms Friday night with the potential of some severe weather. And that's your forecast from the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center. I'm Daigrepont. Currently 63 degrees in Cenla.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback. Dave and I are chatting still about freedom travel and the joy of travel that these young ladies have brought to us today. Annie and Christine, and just enjoyed listening to them, and their website's got me, my appetite is whetted. So I do not want my wife to look at their website because thankfully today she can't listen. She volunteers on Thursdays at Rapides Regional Medical Center. She's a pink lady. No, man, don't remind me of that. So goodness gracious. All right, so it's just Dave and I and your phone calls for the last half hour of the show at the BOM Talkline, 318-442-8255. We'd love to have you call in and chat with us about things that are taking place in Central Louisiana and around the world. And just like that, we've got a call. Good morning. You're on Talkback with David and Nathan.
Good morning. I got a quick question, Nathan, and you may have answered this. I called a couple of weeks ago about striping the Pineville Expressway and that, and you were going to check. You were supposed to have a meeting that day.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm trying to remember when it was, but we actually had Mayor Bishop in here, and he said he was going to follow through on that with DOTD. And so that was, I felt like we got it to the right hands, but I haven't heard back. So with your call, I will check back with him again. But he did hear, he made a note of that. And he did tell me they were going to be running the street sweepers across the bridges of the expressway and to try to get that cleaned up. But the striping is something that he made a note of to talk to DOTD about.
All right. Appreciate it. Enjoy
Absolutely.
the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Another call on the line. Good morning. You're on the BOM Talkline with David and Nathan.
Good morning, David and Nathan. How are y'all?
Doing great. How are you?
This is Jimbo Fields. I want to give a public service announcement.
Yes, sir.
All right. The Rapids Parish School Board has done a wonderful thing. They got a grant for Tioga High School, and they built a brand new state-of-the-art all things we grow plants greenhouse. And at this time of year, it is full of thousands and thousands of bedding plants like tomatoes and every other kind of vegetable you can think of that grows really well in Rapids Parish. And the ag students, I think we have about 180 ag students at Tioga High School, and they planted the plants, grew the plants, took care of them, watered them, fed them, and now they're selling them as kind of a fundraiser, I guess, to pay the school back and do activities that they do. So I want to encourage people to go out there and find Heath Lucas and Debbie Collins McFarland, who are the ag teachers at Tioga High School. They are open from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they will put the plants in boxes for you after you select what you want. They'll encourage you, help you, answer questions for you, and they'll load them up. And you just pay and go home, and they're very economical by comparison, and high quality and very healthy.
Well, Jimbo, thank you for that. That is tremendous information and such an innovative idea for the school to give the kids hands-on lessons, but then also get to kind of refund some of the money that it costs to run the program through the economic sale of these products. You mentioned tomatoes. Do you know what other vegetables or plants they may be selling?
Yeah, plants and bell peppers and squash and zucchini and jalapeno peppers and banana peppers and anything you can name that you want in your garden that you would like to eat, they've got it there, nice and green and little individual boxes. They like to sell in 6 packs, so you got to pick out what you want, get 6 of each, and plant around your yard or whatever. You don't have to have a big garden.
Wow!
But it's just fun to watch it grow, show your kids how it grows, and then you get to consume what you produce.
Yeah. So that's at Tioga High School, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Folks can stop by, and you say they're very economical compared to a traditional retail store because of the way the program has worked. So Tioga High School. All right. Well, that is wonderful,
They're grown locally in our environment, so they're already acclimated instead of some big box store that has them shipped in from God knows where.
Good point.
These plants are ready to go.
Jimbo, am I hearing roosters in the background?
Yes, you are. Roosters and guineas and goats.
I tell you what, I'm going to take farming advice from somebody who has roosters in the background. That's what.
Yeah, I'm feeding. I'm talking to y'all instead of feeding them, and they're kind of getting
they'll let you
angry and anxious. I'm not paying attention to what they think I ought to be doing.
Well, we'll let you get back to pleasing the farm animals, but thank you so much for your call this morning. That is wonderful information, and I know folks can take advantage of that.
They can call the school or visit the school website for hours and times, but it's 8 to 2, Monday through Friday, and they'll answer your questions.
8 to 2. Okay. I said 8 to 5, so I'm glad you corrected that. 8 to 2.
Yes, 8 to 2.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Jimbo Fields letting us know about that over at Tioga High School. And that's pretty cool.
That is. That's awesome. And I know what he means about those animals. When I started delivering in the rural areas, open that back door, I've had goats jump in my truck. I've had dogs, I've had cats, I've had birds, everything. It's a lot different, metro to rural.
Yeah, you're right about that. So McFarland and Lucas are the teachers you want to speak to. They also sponsor the Future Farmers of America, FFA program there at Tioga High School. And nice to see that they have that going on. And man, that's really, really great to I never would have thought of that, but that's really innovative activity there. Well, terrific. Well, just like that, 318-442-8255, the BOM Talkline is how you can call and share some information with us. We need to take our next break. When we come back, I want to chat with you about an award that Rapids Regional Medical Center just received, and it's actually a pretty significant award and recognition. So we'll be back with that information right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Louisiana's moving forward. Crime rates are tumbling. Education, our best test scores ever. Governor Landry announced the largest jobs and economic growth project in Louisiana history. 10+ billion private sector dollars. Now we keep Louisiana moving forward with a yes vote on Amendment 2, March 29th. Amendment 2 permanently lowers the maximum income tax rate. It pays down debt and gives our teachers a permanent salary increase. It keeps the homestead exemption and exemptions for religious organizations. Amendment 2 doubles the senior citizen tax deduction. And Amendment 2 builds on Governor Landry's efforts stopping unneeded spending with a permanent government growth limit. Let's keep Louisiana moving forward by voting yes on Amendment 2. Paid for by Make Louisiana Great Again.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
We got it going on here in Cenla.
Don't miss Spring Herb Day, Arts and Crafts Festival and Yard Sale, Saturday, April 5th. Historic Kent Plantation House hosts its annual Cenla favorite, packed full of plants, shopping, and food vendors. Get details at kenthouse.org.
On Wednesday evening, April 16th, the Arts Council of Central Louisiana presents Cirque Mechanics Pedal Punk at Coughlin Saunders. Pedal Punk is a steampunk-inspired acrobatic experience of excitement, artistry, and thrills. Get your tickets today.
Lace up your run shoes, grab your strollers and wagons, and join us for the Lauren Vaughn Memorial 5K Run Walk on Saturday, April the 19th. All proceeds benefit the Lauren Vaughn Memorial Scholarship at NSU. Get the details at lv5k.com.
Saturday, April 26th is Earth Day at the Alexandria Zoo. Let's team up to protect our planet. Enjoy keeper chats, activities, crafts, and demonstrations. Get the details at thealexandriazoo.com.
Cenla Broadcasting, keeping Central Louisiana live and local.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
Welcome back to Talkback on this Thursday morning. Been a great show this morning. Kevin Sasser, candidate for Police Jury District B, was in the first hour. Enjoyed visiting with him and hearing his plans and the kind of unique voice that he brings to the public square. And then we got to talk to Freedom Travel in the last segment, and coming out of the 8 o'clock news, and learned a lot about them. I had no clue that the services they offered.
I didn't either.
And I know you were impressed with kind of how they fit into the American landscape.
I do. I think it's a credit to our country. Our first caller bragged on Louisiana because of the common sense we apply to elections. Well, these ladies have capitalized. The left hates capitalism because they think it's people capitalizing on other people, but they didn't. They capitalized on their passion and their desire to make travel possible for others, and they were able to make a living at it. And I think that's wonderful. It's because of the freedoms that we enjoy here, and it's a tribute. They capitalized on their willingness to put hard work into digging because they enjoy travel. And so we all benefit. The whole community benefits because they had the freedom to apply themselves to their passions. And that's what makes the American way of life, I think, the best.
Well, you frequently in your calls, you talk about the free enterprise system, how the best will rise to the top. And that allows me an actual beautiful segue into Rapides Regional Medical Center has just been named the only Louisiana hospital that is recognized in the top 250 best hospitals in America.
Wow.
And there are over 4,500 hospitals in America.
Wow.
There's a lot of hospitals.
Yep.
the top 250 were named by Health Grades, which is a independent organization that ranks, hospitals and medical care facilities. And the Rapides Regional Medical Center was named one of America's 250 best hospitals, and that's right here in Alexandria. So, man, kudos to them for the hard work. Interestingly, it puts them in the top 5% of hospitals nationwide. It specifically brought in some key areas of special recognition were critical care. Let's see here. Cardiology, orthopedics, neurosciences, pulmonary, vascular, gastrointestinal, and critical care. They're a trauma hospital. So just hats off to them and what they have achieved. And in that recognition, when you look at Health Grades, they're one of the leading scorers of hospitals. And so just wanted to give them a little shout out as a local people. And that's what happens when, the free enterprise system works, and, they have to compete. They have to compete with other hospitals locally. And
the profit incentive is the greatest driver. Adam Smith said that in 1776.
Absolutely. So I just want to give them that shout out as we look at people who are achieving and accomplishing. There's another achievement that took place recently. I saw there was it's a couple of days old, but a Pineville police officer by the name of Hunter Rachel was named an honorary firefighter because he saw a fire, ran into the burning home and rescued somebody.
Wow.
And, there's this good-natured rivalry between fire departments and police departments. In fact, up in Monroe, they used to have every year, I don't know if they still do it, but there was a huge fundraiser, which was a boxing. They would take their top best boxers from the fire department and the police department. They would box each other, in the battle for the badge or whatever it was called, the red and the blue. And there is always, and it is good natured, but there's just this rivalry. We're better, no, we're better. But for that level for the fire department to actually honor him, they gave him a badge, gave him a hat,
well, hats off to him to run into a fire.
Yeah.
Because he's not trained for that.
No, that's not, you're right. That's not his training.
He has as a human. And that's what draws those people. We were talking earlier about the left and the swatting that's been going on. Over the last 2 weeks, over a dozen people have been swatted, meaning that people have falsely called in a crime in progress. So police hit the door with their guns drawn, and bad things happen sometimes. They're doing it because they have a political disagreement with the person they're calling on. But it's a crime, and several people have gone to prison. Others, police officers have been killed. And so, life is hard. I would want to do anything we can to make it easier for our police officers, especially because you see they're the kind of people that'll run into somebody else's home when they see a fire.
Absolutely.
So hats off to that young man.
Well, and interesting, the story said, he was off duty that day.
Oh, wow.
And so he wasn't even in uniform or patrolling, but
he's a conscientious individual.
Yeah, he ran straight into the house fire in his neighborhood. A neighbor had told him, and he says he ran straight into the house and pulled an elderly resident to safety before the first responders even arrived.
Wow.
And so there were no injuries, just an adrenaline rush for everybody involved.
What was his name again?
Hunter Rachel. Yeah. So
good job.
It says the Pineville Police Department figured they'd help him embrace his inner firefighter. So they teamed up with the fire department to ensure he got the appreciation he reserved. They did a photo shoot, an honorary fire department badge. And if you go to the to the Rapides Parish Journal, it's a couple of days ago. It's actually posted on the 24th. So 3 days ago, but kind of a neat story there.
That is.
Yeah.
That's good news.
So something's happening in your family this week, today, I think. Is it today?
Tomorrow. My wife, the Bible says when a man has found a wife, has found a good thing. And my wife's been a blessing to me for the last almost 40 years. Be 40 years in June. And so her birthday's tomorrow. She wanted me to wish you a happy birthday for Sunday.
Very kind.
And we'll be celebrating that tomorrow.
I met her for the first time at the Red River Athletic Conference basketball tournament.
Okay.
May have bumped into her before, but didn't know who she was, right? Yeah. But she made a point to make the connection to you, and she was there. LCU was playing in the tournament and I was there doing the streaming play-by-play. And so lovely lady. It was really nice.
Thank you. She loves working there at LCU with the athletes and the athletic department with Sonia, her boss, and she brought one of her student workers home the other night. I got to meet her. She went with Gina to help her clean her mom's house.
Nice.
Yes, and so it's making some lifelong connections there.
That's great.
And she's been an athlete all her life. She grew up in Grant Parish, went to Montgomery, graduated from Montgomery High School, and she played basketball and softball. And we used to have a UPS co-ed game week, and she came out there one night, and she got up to bat, and they all moved up, and she pulled it over Tracy Holmes' head, man, in left field.
The ringer.
It was a while back, but I remember it.
That is great. LCU recently hosted a walking thing for the community. I forget, like Walk for Fit or Fit for Life, or I forget what it was called.
They have an initiative they're pushing,
and they're doing it again, I believe. I actually participated in that, where you logged your steps, throughout the week, and got a T-shirt for it, and it's just a nice way to.
I think Dr. Tinsley is involved in that as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is, absolutely, she was. Yeah. So very good. All right, we got our last break. We'll come back with your phone calls and wrap up the show right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics, with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Your teeth are in need of a little dental work, but you're putting it off. Why? Could it be you can't stand the thought of wearing old-timey adhesive-filled dentures? Is it the high cost of dental implants? Or is it just the concept of having a dentist poking around inside your mouth? Whatever your reason, today's Dental in Pineville has it covered. And with hundreds of smiling, satisfied patients, they've made getting implants amazingly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. And with calming in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, your anxiety will all but slip away. Plus, their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. So why wait? If you're looking to replace your old-timey denture with permanent implants, give Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Time out. Hey, remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Passion for LSU football? Then tune your radio to KZMZ 96.9 Rocks for Tiger Talk. Every Monday evening, 4 to 6, Mark Smokey and T-Bone really deliver. Get behind-the-scenes info nobody else has with LSU experts Sonny and Mike. Win prizes each week with Tiger Talk trivia and 5 minutes of fury. Or call in and share your thoughts with fellow Tiger Talkers. Get in the game with Tiger Talk. Monday nights, 4 to 6, on the air at KZMZ 96.9 Rocks or on the app.
Freedom from drug addiction happens in NA meetings. It is possible to stop using drugs, and they can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
And we welcome you back to Talkback. We have a very patient caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on Talkback with David and Nathan.
Yeah, I wanted to remind you that the Simlaw Authors Club is meeting this evening at 6 o'clock at the West Side Library in Alexandria.
Wonderful.
And this series, once a month, I guess it's every fourth Thursday, is the way for people to learn how to become authors.
Terrific. I've actually attended one of those a while back. I forget, Michael Wynn had invited me, and I forget which book was being talked about, but I was fascinated by the presentation and how many creative people we have in the community. So that's taking place today at Westside Regional Library. At what time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, the Simlaw Authors Club. So if you ever thought about writing, if you've got a novel hidden away in the corners of your mind or some short stories or poetry, you guys welcome all aspiring writers. Is that right?
That's correct. And I might point out that you literally do not have to hire a firm to take care of taking care of a book that you want to write. You can go through Amazon and publish it yourself. All you have to do is download the format, fill it in, and you're a published author without any pennies coming out of your pocket.
Wow. Super impressive. I've actually bought some of Michael Wynn's books that he has self-published through Amazon and a few others. And I think one of the beautiful advantages that people could take advantage of is the common shared knowledge that you guys offer. Just like what you just said right there. A lot of people, they think you've got to pay a lot of money or you got to get signed on by a national firm. And you guys could help somebody walk through the process. If they have a story and that they feel like needs to be told, you can help them tell it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it'd be kind of interesting to hear from you or Mr. Dave there to publish some interesting asides about your experiences in life.
You never know, and like you say, because it doesn't cost you anything. I think Amazon does. It's like print on demand kind of a process. So you don't have to buy 1,000 books that sit in the corner of your living room that you've got to figure out how to get the money back for. Yeah. So that's a wonderful idea. Thank you for suggesting that.
Sure. Well, all the meetings are interesting, and this one sure will be as well.
Very good. I appreciate you calling. I look forward. I'm going to have Mike Wynn on soon. Talked to him the other day. He's got a new book out that I don't know where he finds the time to come up with all this stuff, but he does great research, and we'll be having him on soon. Thank you for your call. Got another call on the line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with David and Nathan.
Nathan, is there any way I can hang on the phone and talk to you out there for a second?
Certainly. I'll put you back on hold, and then I'll come back to you after the show. All right?
All right. Thank you.
I'll put you on hold right now. Thank you for that call. And got to bring the right volume down. So I want to mention, as the caller before that just mentioned, the library event today, the Writers Club that's meeting, Son Law Writers. There is an interesting event that the Rapides Parish Library is bringing next month across the parish to, I think, most, if not all, of their branches. And that is, if you've never experienced virtual reality and you'd like to know what it's about, they're going to be hosting VR events throughout the entire system. So if you've never put on a virtual reality headset and you want to know, you can go to, I'm looking right now, it's like a dozen different branches on different days. So they're using the same equipment moving around the parish. So West Side Library, April 1st, Hineston, April 3rd, Labousse, April 5th, Main Library, April 7th. And you can go to their website and get that full list. But I have experienced the virtual reality glasses and bought them for my kids a while back. It's pretty amazing how immersive that experience is. Have you ever done that?
I've tried it once. You were swinging a sword trying to hit sticks.
Yeah.
That's all I did. But I know there's a lot more.
Yeah, there's so much, and they're getting smarter and smarter and higher resolution. And they even fit my glasses, which was helpful to know.
Yeah. On YouTube, there's also videos of people running into walls.
That's right. I like the ones where they show you what they're seeing, and then you see them, like somebody trying to walk across a beam, across the, across between skyscrapers or whatever. Right. And you see them, and they're just on the floor on the regular ground, but it looks like they're about to, and then somebody comes along and pushes them, and it's, that's not a very good practical joke to pull on somebody, but nevertheless, that's taking place at the Rapides Parish Library. Well, we're wrapping up our show today. It's been a tremendous day of opportunities that people have called in today. We really enjoyed having Kevin Sasser on in the first hour. We had Freedom Travel at the second hour. And tomorrow morning, join back up here with Al and Sandra, where they'll be talking to Randy Wiggins. Then in the 7:30 hour, he is the other candidate for District B and the Rapides Parish Police Jury. And so you can join in tomorrow with Al and Sandra. That's it for today. Everybody, hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Stay dry. We may get some rain coming in, but do your best.
Wet. Yep.
You'll be wet. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those